Welcome to part 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race recap show for season 9, episode 2, titled She Done Already Done Brought It On. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined by no one today. I'm just here to introduce part 2 of the show. The one thing you should know as we come into the clip is right when you guys took a break for part 1, we also took a very short break. So when the rest of the show comes in, I'm walking back into, I record in a washroom because it's better for the sound. I'm walking back into the washroom. It had been really hot, so I needed to take a break. And that's where we're coming in. Unless Jay wants to know what my balls smells like, he should never come into this washroom. Oh, God. It's awful. It smells like bonch. Like
I'm
full
good.
up.
I'm good. Going my whole life without knowing.
Feels like taint.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Please keep that part in the episode.
Yeah.
Back on the main stage, RuPaul walks out and introduces the B-52s. More like the B-82s. Cuts to Ross Matthews doing some weird football announcer bit and kicks off the cheerleading challenge. During the challenge, the girls struggled to stand out from the pack as they roll called, tumbled, and flew across the stage. Ladies, any thoughts on the challenge? Let's start with Taylor.
I think I said earlier that I didn't think the challenge was very polished. There was at one point it seemed like there was editing where something didn't rhyme in the cheer, where they said something in the next line. I thought that didn't make any sense. It was hard to hear them at points. I was pleasantly surprised at some of the flexibility of some of the queens that I didn't think were going to be able to do handstand, or not handstands, but somersaults, that kind of stuff. At one point, James kind of does a tumble through two drag queens that are kind of making a arch. And somebody kind of made in one of the interviews, somebody made a face like, girl, really? And I thought she actually did pretty good. Considering she's sort of little and stocky, I thought that was a positive thing. But it probably will not go down as one of my favorite challenges they've ever done, but it was okay. Some of the stunt work they did with pyramids and everything was pretty impressive, considering they've never done that before. Because if somebody asked me to do that 24 hours before and taught me and then threw me up in the air, first of all, where's that video? Because that would be hysterical. But I would be terrified to do that. So I thought that they did a good job. Afterbuzz
TV's Jay Ellis.
I was really impressed with the athleticism of everybody and learning that choreography. I thought it was pretty great. I do, like Taylor, wish that it was a little bit more packaged together, because it seemed like they broke it into sections, like the roll call, then it was stunts, and then it was like tumbling, or they kind of had it broken up too much. If it was kind of a cohesive group number where they didn't really have to cut so often, I think I would have liked the challenge a little bit more. But it was fun to see kind of I like when they do teams versus teams when it's this many contestants. And I don't know. I mean, there was standouts for sure for me. Should I get into those?
The cheerleading challenge? Yeah.
So my eyes went to Valentina, Sasha Velour, and Alexis. When I was watching the wide shot, for some reason, those three kept catching my eye. And I think it was strategically because they were in the front, so maybe I'm not that advanced to look in the back. But it was okay. But it wasn't, again, like Taylor said, it wasn't one of the ones that I'm going to go back and rewatch a ton.
It wasn't, for it being a team challenge this size, it wasn't Glamazon Airwaves or
exactly
or whatever. That's one that even with that being a season 7 challenge, that's one that I still remember this far back. Or the Rusical, the musical, like I remember those. This one was one that you're sort of like, that's okay.
Right.
I think you guys are speaking to this, what you're really feeling here, and because this is the first season, we're really feeling here the loss of Lucian Piani. I'm not even being funny. Like, yes, he's a crazy person. I actually clapped back at him today on Twitter. He's a crazy person. He's lost it, right? But he was the one that wrote all those songs for Glamazon Airways, for Shade the Rusical, for the Herstory one, and we've lost that. We've lost the person who used to write those songs, and they haven't replaced him with anybody. And I think this is where he would have written a number. And I wonder almost if they had planned it for that, and then whatever happened between him and Ru happened, and they split off, and then they had to rethink the piece, because it's a very strange piece.
Well, there's not really music to it. I mean, it's cheers.
That's what I'm saying. There could have been music.
Yeah.
Here's another weird thing, too. Why didn't Ru ever mention that she's a major part of the movie, But I'm a Cheerleader?
Oh, you're right.
That's true. That is true.
I wonder if she's embarrassed about that.
Why? It's such a good movie.
Yeah, this is also a person who made Star Booty. And yet she's embarrassed about... Like, if you look at RuPaul's IMDb, up until 2009, it is so embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I were her.
Have you ever seen Star Booty?
No. Is it good?
It's horrible. It's not even really fun horrible.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's a dumb movie.
They may not be like the best movies, but to have like a drag queen in a film is fantastic. And I mean, RuPaul made her name just doing those spots. So that's kind of what I view it as. I don't think it was like a quality thing. I think it was a look at what I'm doing as a drag queen getting roles.
Yeah, but here's what I kind of think. I kind of feel we have selective memory and there's some revisionist history going on because to me, if you would ask me in 2006, RuPaul was a one-hit wonder from the 90s and was super washed up. And then came RuPaul's Drag Race, which I think that if you look at season 1, it kind of started almost like a show that a washed-up joke sort of makes, on Logo, a network no one had. And then it just changed into something else. And now she has this regal presence about her that I think was developed with the show. But up until the show, if people remember, she was kind of a joke.
Well, she was like guest starring on Sabrina the Teenage Witch and stuff like that. I mean, there wasn't really anything.
That's not what serious people are doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. NSYNC did it, or Backstreet Boys did it.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I take that back. Yeah. A show with a talking cat puppet. All right. Taylor, you want to take over for the looks?
Yeah. So if we can all go to our Google Docs for the runway looks, we're going to talk about the theme, which was White Party Couture. So we are going to start with Charlie Hides, who came out in a floor-length white dress with a muff hood. Muff Hood was my drag name in college, by the way. I thought that she looked beautiful, and again, just about everybody, you're gonna get toots for me. There's only one or two boots, but she's a toot. Jay, what do you think?
I really love this look. I thought the red lip super made this pop because it is so white and silver, and I love the hood. Somebody on the panel said that it was Snow Queen, and yes, exactly. I love it.
Okay. Toot. Joe?
Toot.
Okay. Next we have Valentina, who is wearing a bridal dress that is inspired by her parents' wedding story, and she looks gorgeous in it, and it fits her in all the right places, and I would definitely as well give this one a toot. Joe?
Toot.
Jay?
You guys know where I'm going with this. It's my favorite look I've seen in a really long time. I think it's perfection. For sure, toot.
Okay. So next we have Shea Coulee, who is wearing a Barbarella-inspired, almost a Fifth Element cat suit that is all different stripes and panels. And she also has on a coned bra with big Jane Fonda hair. I loved this look. I loved this outfit. I loved everything about it. This is definitely a toot for me. Jay?
This was a toot for me, too. I thought, the minimal accessories and, just the way that it was cut and shaped, it fit her great.
Yes. Joe?
Toot.
Okay. So next we have Trinity Taylor, who is wearing a 80s sci-fi futuristic inspired cat suit that looks like it's made of some sort of vinyl or rubber. I'm going to give this one a toot, but it is a lowercase t because there was something about the ruffles that it wasn't symmetrical, and I'm very much about symmetry, and it was distracting when she was on the runway, but I enjoyed the inspiration from it. And I'm just looking now, she has some sort of weird panel thing over her cooch with a belt type thing. And I liked it, but I didn't love it, but I liked it. So that's a lowercase t toot. Joe?
Boot.
Boot. Okay, why do you say boot?
I don't like this Trinity. I don't like this outfit. I don't know what's on the front of her thighs. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. And by the way, this is coming from a man who's dressed so horrible today. It's awful. It was gross. Sorry.
Okay.
Taylor.
Jay?
Yeah, Taylor, if there's one thing that we know about you, it's that you love symmetry. So thank you for acknowledging that on the podcast.
I know we've all been thinking it, but I didn't want to, mention the elephant in the room. But yes.
Yeah.
I have a name. Thank you.
Like when you look at Taylor's office that he's sitting in right now, everything matches exactly on both sides. Like
yeah, it's kind
there's
of
a globe on one side and then another spherical object on the other side. Everything's exactly the same.
So back to Trinity, I actually kind of liked her a little bit more this episode, but I'm trying not to let my opinion of the queen change the look. The ruffles, there was something missing. I think that maybe if like underneath there was a cool sequin or something to catch light, so that when they moved you kind of saw something shine or glitter there. It maybe would have added something, but overall it did fit like a dream. It looked great on her ass. I thought it was great. But now that Joe brings up those panels on the thigh, I don't really understand the concept of those. So I'm in between a toot and a boot. So I'm leaning toward a boot, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up was James Mansfield, dressed very Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend with Marilyn Monroe. And I am going to give this one a toot as well. It's too little too late, as we're going to talk about, but I really liked this look from James, and I thought this might have potentially been a turning point for me to some degree. Not full-on love affair, but this was definitely something that I enjoyed this look a lot, so I would give this one a toot. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm looking at it again, like closer up, and I think the accessories are right, and the gloves are right, the color's right. I'm giving it a toot. I like it.
Joe? Sorry.
Boot.
Okay. Why do you think it's a boot?
Yeah, I'll mention this later, but I feel she's trying to bring some Jennifer Coolidge realness to everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I was getting like she wanted to be a Marilyn Monroe or Jane Mansfield. That's what I got.
More like Marilyn Monroe ate Jane Mansfield.
Wow, okay. But now that you say Jennifer Coolidge, thanks. Now that's all I see when I'm looking at her. So, but okay.
Stifler's mom. That's what Jennifer Coolidge is known for, Taylor.
Yeah, I know that. Stifler's mom. Next up, Pheromone. Inspired as a Vegas showgirl. I liked this look a lot. I liked the peekaboo well, they're not really peekaboo. They're, hey, I'm right here, panels on the side. And I enjoyed this. I think this speaks very much to who she is as a Vegas showgirl. So I would give this one a toot. Joe, what do you think?
Boot. I don't like Renee Zellweger.
Wow. Okay.
I just don't like Renee. Do you like Renee Zellweger?
I'm not a huge Renee Zellweger fan, but
she always looks like she ate a lemon. Well, not anymore. She had that plastic surgery. She looks like a different person. Have you ever seen that?
Do you really think Pheromone looks like Renee Zellweger?
In that picture, she does. In that picture I'm looking at right there, she looks like Jerry Maguire with the little nerdy boy son.
No. I'm getting more like a Kylie Minogue type thing from this picture.
All right. Well, what do you know? I mean, I'm sorry. What do I know? You know everything. I know nothing.
Yes. And she's symmetrical, and I enjoy that.
Oh, we all know Taylor loves symmetrical. In fact, if you say Taylor's name backwards, it's Taylor. Try
Jay,
it out.
What do you think of Farrah's outfit?
There's something not quite right for it for me. I do love like the peekaboo on the hips. I'm thinking it's maybe the fur trim, but now that you're saying like Vegas, I kind of have to remember her origins, and I think it's right. But the mask is cute. I'm going toot. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next up is Nina Bonita Brown. She is wearing I don't know what you would call this. She's wearing a white bathing suit looking outfit with fishnet stockings and thigh-high boots. And she has some weird Wonder Woman-inspired tiara painted on her forehead. I am going to give this one a boot. I did not like this look. I didn't like it at all. But, Jay, what do you think?
I agree. It wasn't as strong as I wish it were for Nina. I do like the neck up. I like the tiara on the forehead. but everything else is just a little simple, and I get it, but it's just I wanted from the strong premiere, I wanted a little bit more carried through. So it's a sad boot.
Okay. Joe?
Boot.
Okay. So next up is Eureka O'Hara, who is wearing a pantsuit with a big old bustier and her crazy hair. I will give this one a toot with reservation. I enjoy the fact that she had on a pantsuit versus a dress, but it kind of read boring to me. It read very safe to me. So, Joe?
Yeah, it just looks like Lane Bryant. That should be her drag name. You know who Lane Bryant is, Taylor?
Yes. I know. Yes.
You ever heard of Lane Bryant?
Yes, they have Lane Bryants at the mall here.
Yeah, it should be her drag name. Is Lane Bryant.
Okay. So is that a boot or a toot?
Oh, I didn't say?
No.
You know what? I'm going to toot it.
Okay. Jay?
Yeah, my criticism is like super particular. I wish that the ankle came in to a tighter fit so it wasn't so bell-bottomy, but I really liked the tall hair and it kind of made her look very regal and businesslike. The face, I think of Daniel Brewer because it's very Ginger Minge. Like, I want to know what his thoughts are. But I like this one. It's a toot.
Okay. So next we have Alexis, who is in a floor-length dress, white dress with white high hair, and she has on these crazy white nails. And she has white lipstick on and jeweled straps. Now that I look at it a second time, I really liked it when she came out, but there's something kind of boring about it. So as much as I love Alexis, I think I'm going to boot this one. It's safe. I don't like it. Joe?
If she didn't have the dumb nails, I probably would have liked it. I don't like nails.
If you're not wearing nails, you're not doing drag.
Oh, yeah, who said that?
Alaska.
Oh, that's right. Oh, did I not give an answer?
No, you didn't give an answer.
Oh, toot.
Okay. Jay?
I really wish she had a bigger earring on. Those things were obnoxiously huge. I really liked the hair. It kind of gave it a punk vibe, but it was kind of a mishmash because the dress is so formal. But overall, I'm kind of feeling it. I'm going to go with toot.
Okay. Next, we have Sasha Velour, who was wearing she's wearing a dress. No big surprise there. But that was very bejeweled and had some sort of pattern on it and had fringe around the coat of the dress and very 30s inspired. I'll give it a boot. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I do like the way it was cut, and I like her hair. So
you gave it a boot?
No, toot. I'm sorry. I said a toot. I meant to say toot. So, Jay, what do you think?
I really like this one from the waist up. Like, I really like the waist up, but I kind of wish this was a pant. Overall, I'm still going to go toot because I like the look of it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm into it. Toot.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something. This Jay Ellis is onto something. I didn't think about that until he said if it were pants,
yeah,
I would have loved it.
Yeah,
you're right. If
I
they
agree.
were pants, I would have loved it. So I'm going to give it a toot. I'm giving Jay's answer.
Okay. So you're just going to edit Jay's answer and just put it in where you were talking?
Yeah, Jay, what did you say? I'm just going to I have a microphone here. And then I'll have me go first, and then him go, and he'll sound really lame. He'll be like, he just literally repeated what Joe said.
I'm keeping my mouth shut.
So next we have Aja, who is wearing very Game of Thrones Khaleesi, Mother of Dragons, inspired with the white hair and a jewel-encrusted tiara. I'm going to give this one a boot. I was not necessarily... I thought it was very plain and just not probably definitely on the lower list of ones that I liked. So I'm going to say boot for this look. Plus her hair was, to quote a previous co-host, thirsty. So... Not a fan.
Much like the fans of RuPaul's Drag Race are for our guest co-host, Jay Ellis.
Yes, absolutely. So, Joe, what did you think of Aja's look?
I'm going to tell you something. I liked it. I don't hate it. I like anything that looks like what an altar boy would wear.
Oh, boy.
So stay tuned for our next episode where I psychoanalyze Joe's responses.
I'm going to tell you something. And I know this is a joke that comedians make. I was never molested in school. I went to a Catholic school. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm putting my iPad down so I can talk about this. How do I put this? I can't talk about this on the show. I can't. I tried to find a way to talk about it on the show. But let me put. There were opportunities, and I was passed over.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Should I not put this in the show?
You can put this in the show if you like.
I wish Aja had.
Do you think I was an ugly kid, Taylor? Is that why
I've never seen you as a kid.
I would have totally kept this secret. I would have told no one. What, Jay?
Okay,
Sorry?
but would you have told no one if the priest was hot?
Oh, if no, I would have. Well, who would I have told?
Let me rephrase that. Would you have told no one if the priest was not hot?
If the priest was not hot, I'm not interested. But we had some hot priests.
Jay, what are your thoughts about Aja?
How do I follow that? Yeah, so with Aja, the only thing, you're right, Taylor. I wish that there was something going on with this. Even like the inlay, like I feel like if you ever have a cape or something, you should never have the same color on both the outside and the inside. Just give us like a little peekaboo of a different color. Even though it is a white challenge, even making that white or like a sequin so that way it catches light. I want something. So I thought, we don't see it in this picture, but she had a mask that covered her face when she first came out, and that was a cool illusion. But the still shot, I'm not into it. So it's a boot.
I've never heard such complicated thoughts on capes.
Like Taylor loves symmetry, I love a cape.
I would love to wear a cape. If I was taller and thinner, I would wear a cape everywhere I went.
Standing in line at Burger King, you
everywhere
stand there with your cape on.
Everywhere.
Joe Batancula. Is that bad?
Batancula.
You know that really works, huh? Batancula?
It does.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Peppermint. Peppermint is wearing they talked about it being Elvis inspired. I got more of a Prince inspiration from this, but she is wearing a long coat with a huge bedazzled collar and great updo, and she has lots of pearls and jewels, and I loved everything about this. Probably one of my favorite looks of the night, and this is definitely a toot. Joe, what are your thoughts on Peppermint?
I'll tell you what inspired her. Her from last two challenges. It's the same outfit. It's been the same goddamn outfit every single time. With the long coat, with the Matrix coat.
Okay, well, I like that on her, though.
What's she hiding? I'll tell you, I like... And also, if you're going to do a long coat, let me tell you something. You should have two different colors. I know it's a white challenge and everything, but you really want a different color on the inside.
Something that catches the light, maybe?
Something that catches the light. Yeah.
Sequins or something like that?
You actually can see it here, but she doesn't have a cool mask, but it looks like a mask on her face. But a mask would have been really good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jay, what are your thoughts on Peppermint's look?
I am like you, Taylor. I absolutely love this one. The punk vibe with the hair was, or not punk, but like that mohawk. It gave me like Storm from X-Men. I love the collar. I do get Elvis, I think, because that white jacket is so memorable. That's that collar. But now that Joe's saying that it's the same silhouette and the same cut, like that does kind of bother me. So for this look specifically, toot for sure. But I really hope that we get more from Peppermint.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree to that. So next up is Cuckoo, and Cuckoo is wearing a jaunty hat with a big feather in it, and she's very Audrey Hepburn inspired, with lots and lots of gems and jewels on the front of it, which definitely read at times as almost blue. I think there was a lot of blue jewels in that, but a nice look. A nice look. I'd give this a toot. So, Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love the makeup is clean, and like that fascinator was really pretty. And you're right, with the colors, it did seem kind of bluish, but I really like the stripe in it. It kind of gives a little bit of texture. So I was into this one. I like the glove, so it's a toot.
Okay. Joe?
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane. It's so boring. And then she dresses like Audrey Hepburn, and they go like, "You look like Audrey Hepburn." She's like, "What?" And untucked. She's like, "Oh,
yeah.
Really?" Meanwhile, she's wearing like a "I look like Audrey Hepburn" T-shirt, essentially. Tell me I look like Audrey Hepburn. I don't like
# breakfast at Cuckoo. So We actually have one more look, but there's not a picture of it.
Who?
Kimora Black.
Oh,
that's right. Well, we all remember it. It was so boring and awful.
We all remember it. Kimora Black was in a tragic cat suit, yet again, that was ripped up, and wearing a star-spangled bathing suit top with gold lame gloves and a captain's hat. And I thought she looked gross. So I would give this one a big toot. This was probably this was my least favorite look of the week.
You mean boot?
Jay?
Yeah.
Boot. God damn it. She was a boot.
Okay. It's confusing. As soon as she ripped off that hat in the lip sync, I think it went up so much it looked so much better, but it's another jumpsuit. I need more. Give me more. So boot.
Yeah. There's something about captain hats that I find inherently, that if it's not on a captain, that I find inherently trashy.
Love will keep us together. Will anybody in the audience know what I'm referring to except Taylor?
Captain Tennille, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
It was in a 90s movie that I like. No, I'm just playing into it. I'm joking. Yeah, I know Captain Tennille.
Okay.
Wait, is it Captain? No, this is bad. Is it Captain and Tennille?
Yes.
Captain and Tennille.
Okay. I said Captain Tennille before, but that didn't sound right.
Captain. That would be a good drag name, though. Captain used to wear an actual captain's hat, and he sat behind some weird keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then his wife's name was Tony Tennille.
Oh.
Yeah. And she had some sort of page boy haircut.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Okay, never mind. I have a thing about the lip sync, but never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there. Calm down.
You just got ready to tell him to calm down.
Yeah, calm down.
Okay. And that's the looks of the week.
All right. Thank you.
We didn't talk about RuPaul. Wait a minute. We didn't talk about RuPaul's look. I take umbrage with RuPaul's. RuPaul looked horrible this week. The hair, the makeup, the stupid green dress. If the theme is white party, why would you not wear a white dress?
I thought the same thing.
And I thought that her makeup was like, she looked like washed out or something. I don't know. And that the wig, the wig line started like at the top of her head. It was just not a good look for her this week. So RuPaul gets a boot from me.
Well, now we're also feeling the loss of Matthew Anderson.
There you go. Joe, what did you think of RuPaul's look this week?
It was horrible. Someone put a picture of Serena Cha-Cha's face on the look, and you're like, oh, that really was a very Serena Cha-Cha from season 5 look.
That is not a vote of confidence. Somebody saying something like that.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, guys. It's not a good, strong first look for Ru.
We didn't have Kimora come over and steer this boat with her captain's hat. We're all in the same boat. Imagine Jay being in the same boat as me and you, Taylor. I would already start writing my will, putting that letter in a bottle. That boat is sinking so fast.
Well, it depends on how big the boat is.
I'm picturing a little boat.
Know.
But we probably eat Jay before he even got a chance to jump out.
And why are we on a boat? What put us in this circumstance?
Well, that's what happened after the show. We all came to boat.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, 3 go out, 2 come back. Nobody's heard from Mike Lawson in a week.
Yeah.
And apparently I look thinner, and that's from my all-protein diet.
Yeah.
Back on the main stage, the judges loved Valentina and Shea Coulee, while the judges didn't have a lot of love for Kimora, James, or Charlie. In the end, Valentina was named the winner of this week's challenge, and James and Kimora were forced to lip-sync for their lives. The two went head-to-head, but in the end, James went from floozy to snoozy to losey. What's wrong, Taylor?
I didn't read that until just now.
Jay, any thoughts on the lip sync?
All honesty, this could have been a double elimination for me. I don't think either queen really was nailing it or doing anything fantastic. But again, it might just be me coming down on Love Shack, Taylor's favorite song. My thought was, I really wish that Mickey, I know that they had B-52, so they had to use them, but I really wish that Mickey, since it was a cheering challenge by, is it Tony
Basil.
Basil, thank you. Like, wouldn't that have been perfect?
That would have been a great one. That would have been a great one to do.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of down on the song, but overall, I feel like James was just kind of mimicking what Kimora did when she went on the ground and kind of following her. Kimura was just kind of patting the puss, as Erica Jane would say. So, I mean, it was okay. It was fine, but it could have been a double elimination in my eyes.
Taylor?
I would totally agree. I half expected it to be a double elimination. Now, that being said, when it came down to where it was James and Kimura, even though we're not big James Manfield fans in this house, Bob, my partner, and I both looked at each other and said, I hope James pulls it out on this one.
Okay.
Really, that at that point, because we really, as much as we don't like James Manfield, we really don't like Kimura Black. So, and that with the look and everything was, we were hoping, it seemed like her look, because she's kind of had that 60s bombshell, and Love Shack as a song is kind of, it always reminded me of sort of that like 60s, you know, that song always reminded me of something that you would have seen on the Flintstones, or like that kind of rock song to it. So I thought that she could have really pulled that out and done.
Don't you think they would have done
really
Rock Lobster on the Flintstones?
Did they do Rock? They did Rock Lobster in the movie.
Don't you think they would have done Rock Lobster because it has the word rock in it? Everything in the fucking Flintstones was a goddamn, like, the people in real life, like, all they did was talk about rocks and stones and shit like that.
Well,
like,
yes.
Remember, like, that Rock Hudson was a guest star because his name's Rock Hudson?
And then Halle Berry played Sharon Stone in the movie.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Sorry, go ahead. You were
Yeah.
saying something, Taylor. Sorry.
Yes, that's totally fine. So it made me a little sad that Kimura stayed and then she did. But she also did something that is a sure sign of who's going home, and that's she tried to get in front of Kimura while Kimura was lip syncing, and that is a sign of desperation. And that always seems when you've got somebody that does something like that and can't pull it off, they're the ones that go home. So as much as they were showing her a lot during the lip sync competition, during the actual lip sync, I really thought, oh, this isn't good. They're going to send her home. And it was kind of lackluster. But I agree with Jay that I would not have been surprised if she said, you're both going home. And what a hell of a way to start a season by sending two queens home on the first challenge. That would have been kind of awesome.
Well, they have queens to spare.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel like they saved something like that for once a season, and she was probably like, But I do agree. I kind of feel like James, because the song is sort of silly. So James was sort of giving a silly performance while Kimura was giving a sort of very sincere, like, sexy. Would you ever do a sexy dance to Rock Lobster?
Well,
Love Shack?
No.
Yeah,
Love Shack?
I'm sorry, to Love Shack?
Yeah.
Would you ever do a second? Even remember during the part with the bang bang on the door, baby? Kimura was doing like a Charlie's Angel gun pose. Like she didn't even understand the song.
Well, I think we've established that intelligence is not Kimura's forte, so that makes sense. But I also don't understand why they would pick a song in which the majority of the song is a male vocalist.
I thought the same thing, too.
Because I would be confused. So am I singing the guy parts as well, or am I just waiting for the refrain? It was just, it was an odd selection. Considering there are songs, Rome is nothing but women. It's Cindy and Kate. It's just their vocals. So that would have made more sense. But this one was...
I like Taylor going with the deep cuts of B-52s.
Yeah.
Like,
what'd you say?
He went with the deep cuts there. Like, well, why aren't they doing...
Love Shack is their biggest pop hit, and then Rome would definitely be number 2 for that. It's not like I said, Devil in My Car, one of those, like, really deep cuts.
Is that a real deep cut of theirs?
Devil in My Car, yeah. Wig.
Why do you know so much about the B-52s?
My first boyfriend was a huge B-52s fan, and we actually broke up after we had bought tickets to go see the B-52s in Orlando. And I said, well, what are we going to do with the tickets? I mean, it was an amicable breakup. But he goes, no, we'll still go. But we didn't talk to each other for like a month and a half before the concert. And then we had like 90 minutes each way to just sit in the car and talk. And we ended up becoming really, really good friends because of that. And it was the Good Stuff tour, and Juliana Hatfield was the opening act. And we thought she was horrible. Thank you.
Wow, did anyone think when we started this podcast that we would be getting so much B-52s information?
As it relates to me, as it relates to Taylor.
Did they put on a good show?
They put on a great show, except at that point, Cindy wasn't part of the lineup, and they had, in her place, they had Julie Cruz, who was the woman who sang the theme to Twin Peaks.
Why do you know so much about the B-52s?
I really don't. I just know, like, little segments as they apply to me. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
I'm still thinking about Halle Berry as Sharon Stone.
Ladies, any final thoughts on the episode? Was there anything we missed? Anything you wanted to say? Any notes you had that you didn't get to today?
We could go on and on talking about James Mansfield, but I think the comment that she made after she was eliminated with the, I came in first, was a hint of what we could have seen had she gotten more comfortable in the series. And those of us that didn't necessarily care for her could have come to really like her. Between that and the thing of where she pretended to smile and then pretended to burst into tears as she walked off stage. Like, that was all very seemed cute and enjoyable to watch. In Untucked, they seemed, those of you who have seen this week's Untucked, after the elimination with her seems to go on forever. It seems like watching her pack up all of her stuff and everything, it was almost excruciating to watch, in that it you really kind of felt for her, because I really think that she allowed herself to get into her own head early on, and that's what kind of caused her. She wasn't being true to herself. I could see her becoming, if they do what they did with Cynthia Lee Fontaine on this season, I could see her coming back for another season. RuPaul bringing her back in to give her a second chance. I would not be surprised if that happened on season 10 or another season later on.
Jay Ellis, any final thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Regarding Charlie, or not Charlie, hold on, sorry. Yeah, regarding James, I think that with her, we kind of, when she was eliminated, we saw a peek of what she could be, because the pressure was off at that point. And her in the workroom was just kind of her improving and kind of going through like what we could have seen. And I wouldn't be surprised if she was brought back as well. I don't know. I like these queens so far. Like, I think it's been a strong season so far. I mean, we're only 2 in, but I think that the challenges are going to be fun. And there's a lot of people that I'm rooting for, so I'm excited to see more.
Great. All right, so I want to touch on a few brief things. We're running long, so I'm going to just kind of touch on this. But Taylor, do you know about this Wendy Williams controversy?
I know a little bit about it. I know that she did the pre-show, like...
She's been doing it. Yeah, they have like a little show during the commercials when it airs live.
Oh, okay. See, I buy the episode, so I don't... So she does. So she's continuing. It wasn't just before the first episode.
No.
Oh. Okay.
So,
and I know that she's made very like transphobic comments in the past or something.
Yeah, and
like
she kicked someone off her show who showed up in drag. She said horrible things about Caitlyn Jenner, but then also, worst of all, people have commented on she doesn't seem to know the show, and says very like weird things, and she doesn't seem to be very interested in it. Jay, do you know anything about this?
Yeah, again, we talked about this on Gay Weekly Roundtable, where it was actually like the segment producer who said, I guess when you sign up to be in the Wendy audience, it says no costumes allowed, and the individual who showed up in drag is considered a costume. So it wasn't Wendy Williams coming out and being like, get them out of my studio. It was a rule set up from producers, and they sat them saying we're not allowed to put costumes on. So they put them in a section that was not on camera, I believe, and then was invited back for the Halloween show and said, come however you'd like for this one, we're allowing costumes. So I guess it's kind of a little bit muddled about what's going on, and that's the story as I know it. I could be maybe a little bit wrong with my facts. But that's what I know. And then as far as the pre-show, you're right. From what I've noticed, she doesn't seem involved with the queens or knowing who, like, hasn't done the research, I guess, to take the job. And I personally fast forward through the little clips. As much as I like Ross, it's just not enough to keep me engaged for that 30 or 60 seconds.
Well, it's one of these things. I think on the most recent episode, for episode 2, she referred to the show as RuPaul's Drag, not RuPaul's Drag Race. Which
Are
could
they
be
live?
I don't know if they're live or not.
Okay.
I don't see why VH1 would put them live. I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
So, all right. Well, but there's been a big, because of the story Jay just told. Also, I don't know the comment that she's made about Caitlyn Jenner, but she's made weird comments about Caitlyn Jenner when she was going through transition. Like people like Willem and Alaska or Detox. A lot of people have come out against, they want VH1 to boot her and fire her. So I didn't know where you guys fell on that. I thought we should address it. Next, you guys both watch Untucked. I just want to bring up one thing from Untucked. Everyone's talking about it. What did you guys think about the moment when Charlie told Eureka to shut up? Taylor, any thoughts on that?
I enjoyed that moment because it seemed like a genuine. I think it caught everybody, including Charlie, off guard that she said it, but it was definitely uncomfortable. But I think Untucked is where I think everybody is trying really hard to not be the villain, and they're all trying to kind of catch each other from being the villain. It feels very much of the well, let her talk, that kind of thing. So it was a moment that sort of, when she said it, we both sort of went, oh, and so I can't imagine being in the room and hearing somebody go, will you just shut up for a second?
And Jay, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Eureka, I kind of mentioned it earlier in the episode, but Eureka has an opinion on everybody's, I guess, point of view and isn't shy to voice it. So I thought it's exactly what Taylor said, where Charlie, when she just goes, can I talk or can I finish, whatever, it's just like, oh, like, where'd that come from? I think she kind of took herself by surprise, but it started a conversation, and I think it was kind of necessary, because even as a viewer, I'm like, wow, we hear from Eureka after everything. So it was nice. It was a good little shady, Untucked moment.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Oh, thanks. I've been working on it, as well as my Michelle Visage laugh, but I'll save that one for later.
I'm going to tell you something. We're not pulling clips right now, but there were a few good Michelle Visage.
Oh, I tell you every time I'm on here that since you guys have pointed it out to me, it's all I can hear. Like, it's just like a, oh, like she's just playing it on. Like,
yeah, because when you hear her really laugh, it's not like that.
No.
All right, Taylor, you want to go with the emails?
Yes. Let me look at them. I have to go get them.
All right, well, Taylor looks up the emails. I'll cover some show business while he pulls up the emails. I want to talk about one thing. Some of you may have gotten this announcement on Facebook or our Twitter page, but we are starting a new show. It's me, because Taylor wants nothing to do with me, as we've established, outside of Sundays when we tape. But we're doing a new show called The Gold Bar, where it's a chance for you, the listener, to talk to me. We already have our first 2 guests lined up. Actually, 3. We have our first 3 guests lined up for the next few episodes. But if you would like to be a part of this, email us at dragracerecap@gmail.com. That's dragracerecap@gmail.com. Just give us your name, and tell us a little bit about yourself, even though that's not the criteria for being on the Gold Bar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a name at random from the people that email, but I would like to know a little bit about you also. So it's purely your chances of being on the Gold Bar. Your chances of being in the Gold Bar show, pure luck. Unless you are a very attractive man who sends his picture in the email, the odds may be forever in your favor. If
you're dressed as an altar boy, you're guaranteed.
If you're dressed as an altar boy, and then you mention in the email how I'm your favorite person on the show, oh my God, you are so going to be on the next episode of The Gold Bar. Taylor, are we ready with the emails?
Yes. Our first email is from Dennis. And Dennis writes, "Hi guys, enjoyed the first season 9 recap today. Quick question. Do you think that the queens will be saved this season because the producers see them bringing drama to the show? The reason I ask this is because everyone was quick to say that Trinity Taylor will go home soon. I agree she's annoying and terrible. However, I think she will stick around for a while because she seems like she will bring drama, particularly the Eureka Trinity storyline that was mentioned. I loved guest judge Mike Lawson. But how do you have a guest judge who didn't watch Untucked? This is a serious cross-dresser competition here, girl. Be prepared next time." Lastly, I'm upset there was no mention of the Zika comment from Michelle when referring to Nina's peach head. I nearly became deceased while watching the episode. Cheers, Dennis. P.S. I greatly appreciated Taylor serving the old Italian lady realness with his use of the word agita. Maybe he should change his name to Taylor, the Metamucil boy. So what do we think about keeping which characters, which contestants will stay on longer because of potential drama? Jay, do you have any thoughts on that?
Like people who will stay on for drama, just for like the sake. I do think that they love like a pageant rivalry. So if Eureka and Trinity come to a head like at any point in time, then that might be the only people that they'll keep for that. But these queens, maybe Kimora, I don't know, like my Meet the Queens assessment of these girls was so different from what I see on the show now, where I thought that Kimora and Pheromone were going to be like the instigators in Aja, but they really haven't done it too much of it. So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it seems like, especially when you talk about competition between pageant girls, it's easy to go back to Alyssa Edwards and Coco. Right. And that was from moment one. They established that the two of them were going to fight the entire season about pageant stuff and everything that went along with that. I'm not necessarily getting that from even when Eureka was in the top 3 last week, they didn't make a big deal out of Trinity's reaction to it. It just seemed like it just kind of happened. She said, I want to beat Trinity. That's my main goal. She did it. And there was no real follow through as far as the story as to what the effect of that was for Eureka or for Trinity. Mm-hmm. Joe, what are your thoughts?
I feel that this Trinity Eureka thing is so manufactured. In fact, when RuPaul said that Trinity was safe, Eureka cheered and clapped. So I think it's so manufactured for the show. I don't think it's real. I think she's gonna go. I think she's horrible. She's boring. I don't like her, and I hope she goes right away. I think it should be next Kimora Black, then Trinity. Thank you. Okay. That bitch better not make it to Snatch Game. That's all I have to say. And then I don't know what Zika virus is. I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what the Zika virus is, Taylor?
Zika virus is the thing that was affecting everybody at the Olympics this year.
Oh.
It's from mosquitoes, and it's
what are Olympics?
Causing babies to be born with issues where their heads are usually really small versus really big. So it was also where it causes cognitive issues and development.
Okay, so anyway, that concludes this. Oh my God! But I'll tell you what. Do you think this Michael Phelps is hot, Taylor?
No.
Oh my God! I think he is so hot, Jay.
Ew, really?
Jay, where are you in Michael Phelps?
He's okay. I wouldn't kick him out of bed.
Thank you. Well,
but I wouldn't choose him.
I would. There are a few people that I would turn down.
Kick out of bed.
Yeah. Well, that concludes another episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. A special thanks to Jay Ellis for joining us today. You can find Jay on Twitter at @still_jealous. That's JELLIS, _jealous. And on Instagram at don't_be_jealous. Also, watch Jay Ellis on Afterbuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show, available on YouTube.com. Does anyone not know it's YouTube.com? Is anyone going like, YouTube.what? YouTube.0? Like,
YouTube.ca for our Canadian folks.
My parents wouldn't.
.gov.
My parents wouldn't. My parents would think it's like, well, YouTube what? HTTP? Anyway.
geocities.youtube.net/
You can follow us on Twitter at Drag Race Recap and on Facebook at facebook.com/Drag Race Recap. Email us at our new email address, dragracerecap@gmail.com, and find all of our old episodes at dragracerecap.com. Also, don't forget to check out our new show, The Gold Bar, available exclusively starting this week on SoundCloud at http://www.soundcloud.com. So, for Taylor Elias Disney, Jay Ellis the Latte Boy, and myself,
sashay away until next week.
Want to know what Taylor the Latte Boy is up to at all times? He has his own podcast called Pod Is My Co-Pilot, available on iTunes and at podismycopilot.com. You can follow him on Twitter at PIMCTaylor and also on Instagram at PIMCTaylor. I have another podcast called Catching Up. It's available on iTunes and at cupodcast.com. You can also catch me recapping RuPaul's Drag Race on One-on-One with Larry Flick on Sirius XM Radio every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Entertainment Weekly Radio, Channel 105. Need to see what I'm eating? Follow me on Twitter at Joe Betance. That's JOE, as in boy, ETANCE, and on Instagram at Joe Betance.